Another big story we are tracking tonight. Take a look. This is the inside of a business that was damaged by flooding after a fire in downtown Spokane last night.
People and businesses are still recovering after that fire at the Coeur d'Alene Plaza apartments forced dozens of people to relocate. We first brought you this story as breaking news at 5 o'clock yesterday.
Tonight, KREM 2's Christian Garza has been talking with those who are impacted by that fire.
I'm here on Howard Street after a kitchen fire at the Coeur d'Alene Plaza apartments right here behind me caused over 60 residents to be displaced, as well as 3 businesses, Petunia and Loomis, Boo Radley's and O'Doherty's Irish Grill, to close for the foreseeable future due to flooding from the sprinkler system because of that fire. Spokane Fire Department Fire Chief Tom Williams says the fire broke out on the 6th floor of the apartment building, but was contained to 1 unit. However, it still caused more than 60 residents to be displaced. After visiting the Red Cross shelter, displaced residents say they didn't think the situation was serious because the fire alarm goes off fairly regularly. Brianna Chesser, who has lived there for 8 years, even says she ignored the alarm initially and put on her headphones.
Then the fire department came in, kind of yelled at me for doing that.
She says it wasn't until she walked outside of her apartment that she realized how severe the situation was.
The fact that there was smoke billowing through the hallways and stairwell, and that there's a huge puddle at the bottom of the stairwell.
Assistant Fire Chief Williams says no one was hurt in the fire. However, the same thing cannot be said about the businesses that were on the ground floor of the complex.
I found massive amounts of water pouring from the ceiling.
A number of businesses below the apartments, including Boo Radley's and O'Doherty's Irish Grill, were forced to stay closed as they worked to salvage their businesses.
The worst possible time for this to happen. The holidays are our busiest time, and a lot of what we rely on for getting us through the slow beginning of the year. And so it was a lot of panic.
Jesse McCauley, the manager for Petunia and Loomis, says the timing of the damage is a major cause for concern. McCauley says the flood adds another layer of stress since it comes less than 2 weeks after the business moved to this new location.
We're kind of riding this high of being in a new space, and for this to happen was very difficult.
Red Cross says their last official count of people using the shelter at All Saints Lutheran Church was around 36, all of whom lived at the Coeur d'Alene Plaza apartments. Red Cross officials say as of right now, those that need help are able to stay at the church, but they are looking for a bigger facility to be able to better help those who can't go home just yet.
We're all praying for each other and staying together, and hope we can all be back in the building as soon as possible.
Assistant Fire Chief Williams with the Spokane Fire Department tells me that investigators are still looking into what caused the fire here at the Coeur d'Alene Plaza apartments. However, it's up to the building's management team as to when residents will be able to come back in. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.